demands a style that is always met. It is a defensive map. It is a game about who gets the first frag. Yep. It's a game about who gets early control. And the champions, I think, are such an extended arm of that, where the moment the clutch is banned, because we're on Blood Run, the next pick is Nyx, who can do a similar job, just a little bit differently. Like, Raisy knows exactly how he wants to approach this map.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so much utility you get out of Nyx on Blood Run. You can use a double jump to get across the central gap. So many places you can jump to and from. And then, of course, that invisibility can get you out of any sticky situation, but also can sneak you into the map. And on that note, we are jumping into map 1 of this series. It is Blood Run. We're starting this one off on av3k.
The game of who gets an early lead. av3k looking to spring the trap already. Doesn't want to collect the Mega just yet until he's confident he's not going to give away too much information. The patience coming from Raisy. Picks a good moment. He does manage to get in and out kind of unaffected. There's not a huge amount of damage that's been output just yet.
Yeah, that definitely could have gone a whole lot worse for Raisy, especially that first burst of LG. Here we go, though. Raisy is going to be forced to pop the Ghost Walk. av3k looking for him, but Raisy does manage to sneak out through the railgun room. And at this point, av3k looking slightly better off, because he will probably be able to take Mega and make his way over to Heavy.
He's got plenty of time, thanks to the miniature delay. Blood Run, the distance between the two pickups isn't very significant. However, he has heard the Heavy. He knows there's no chance to take it.
Yep.
av3k eyeing up the fact that he hasn't got a lot of armor, and bad time to get caught by a rail when you're out of armor, even after he managed to collect.
Yeah, right now av3k has to switch to a more defensive playstyle. Is going to hide a totem down there in the secret little corner, hoping that Raisy won't find it, to get a string of totems going, hopefully reach that critical point of having 3 on the map at the same time before the overstack. Nice little bit of damage on the Mega right there with the rocket through the grate. And in we go, we're getting a fight just before Heavy. Raisy's LG, superb. av3k's got 2 health bubbles to work with, and he's going to back away though. Raisy will take Heavy.
av3k using every last piece of LG ammo if it means he can keep Raisy far away. Thankfully, yeah, a decent chunk of damage right at the end. So, Raisy was looking to dedicate that fight.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those 2 small health bubbles, I'm confident av3k would have died there and it would have been a 1-0. But this is that slow game. It is not as crazy explosive as some of the other maps we've seen today. It's just the nature of Blood Run. It's the positioning of how the map is built. Yep. Especially the champions that get picked. Galena, she's going to fortify, she's going to tank up. Nyx is going to look to catch those traps whenever possible. The get out of jail free card of the invisibility. av3k picks a bad time to get Heavy, and I mean, sometimes that just happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He tried to get himself onto Heavy. Raisy read him perfectly and dealt the LG damage when he needed to, knocking him down and securing him the first frag, and looks like av3k is going to go down once again. Raisy looking good, and right now, I mean, av3k already looking like he's in trouble on this map against this champion. Raisy's LG into rockets, and that's 3 frags in the span of what, 40 seconds?
That Ghost Walk that Raisy used was very much like a gift that keeps on giving, I think, where it initially saved him from the rocket shot, the rocket not connecting, giving av3k a little bit less information over where Raisy was, and then being invisible as he's chasing down towards power-up room. av3k clearly got caught off guard. That is pretty much like a double purpose. And Raisy is just so experienced in this game that these little micro champion specific decisions, he's so good at making them.
At this point though, av3k in full control, taking Mega, but damn, there we go. Nice rail from Raisy that's going to immediately get rid of that Mega health. But if you see through the wall right there, av3k has actually got 2 totems waiting. So he's essentially got a Mega health in his pocket to deploy at will. Raisy, is he going to make a move on it? Nope, he's just going to look for the LG damage. Oh, misses the rail. He's actually really not doing too well. av3k very healthy.
And av3k needs to capitalize on this difference in stack. The issue with having no frags at all is that even if Raisy's down, if av3k's not pressing the advantage, Raisy doesn't really have much to worry about. It's going to take time, it's going to waste time, more importantly.
Yep. And of course, av3k is kind of forced to first force out the Ghost Walk. Because as long as Raisy has got that ability at the ready, he can get out of any situation pretty much instantly. So av3k really has to force a fight, make Raisy use that ability, and then continue applying pressure.
You know, Raisy was looking to get in and out there. I'm not even sure he potentially might have missed the Heavy with that wall jump. But as long as he survives, which he didn't. I was about to say if he survives, it's better than nothing. But now av3k re-establishing a little bit Raisy. Not a lot of weaponry there. He has got the plasma, but he has to dodge at the same time. And, oh, the misses! Okay. Somewhat of an opening there. And he tried. I respect the attempt. I really, really respect the attempt.
On the other hand, though, av3k, I mean, Raisy could have gone out there, but he stuck around and he gave up another frag because he didn't have the Ghost Walk. av3k was fully aware of Raisy being handicapped in that way, and ultimately Raisy could have gotten away, but right now it's 3-2, 1 frag of a deficit. That's pretty easy to overcome.
Especially when we have lots of the map left. As now av3k places another totem. He's been really putting up those fortifications, and it's so good on a map like this where, again, you kind of have to go out your way to deal with some of these totems. The exception being, obviously, when you spawn, it might be near a spawn location, but even that little curved hallway, you're trying to run away and can't sometimes look at all the escape routes, and av3k backing up near the totem just in case. Understanding now that that's not where Raisy went. He's able to click the Mega. Is that going to be the key to success? As now he's pushing into the middle, takes out one of the totems. A little bit of a token prize there, actually.
Yeah.
As Raisy.
And a big rocket, too.
He's not in a terrible position here.
No, very good play from Raisy because he had used his Ghost Walk, and if he didn't do that amount of damage, av3k would have definitely just pushed him and taken the fight right through him. But look at this, Raisy's rockets are murderous. av3k has to retreat from that fight, allowing Raisy to go ahead and take the heavy, and probably Mega as well right now.
And those Mega deep rocket angles would not have been possible if it wasn't the next wall jump.
Yep.
If he didn't have the ability to get that sort of top-down shot to hit av3k where he otherwise thought he might have been safe. Is how far he's been able to push av3k away, as now the stack is absolutely massive in comparison. av3k, all he managed to do there was do a little bit of damage to himself. Just continuing to play this runaway game. Heavy is going to be the objective, but it looks like Raisy has already beat him to the mark.
Yep.
Can he beat him to Mega as well?
Raisy will look for some damage, probably won't be able to take it himself. Like, takes a rail. He's still pushing in, and av3k is just going to retreat. Is fearful in light of those plasmas coming right at his face, because that does so much damage if you just dodge one wrong move. And right now, 3.5 minutes left on the clock.
And av3k can't risk anything at the moment. He's going to get chased. That's a free kill.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Ghost Walk. I was about to mention, because the Ghost Walk hadn't been used, av3k would have had safe reason to believe that it was available. So, you know, he can't overextend, because the get out of jail free card when you're the one getting bullied is so dangerous. The wall jump again. av3k, the only way to deal with that is to either delay his rockets or aim upwards. Both of those would waste time. He's taking damage the entire time, and it's a hard decision to make. Do you play around the next wall jump, or do you try and go for the ground rockets? In that case, he took no damage because of it.
That was a perfect decision from Raisy, because of course, doing those wall jumps when your opponent has lightning gun, you're gonna take so much damage, but he knew, based on where av3k had spawned, that there was no way that av3k could have had a lightning gun. All he had was the rocket, so dodging like that was a perfect way to avoid any damage. And now the machine gun is actually doing a decent amount of damage, but so are the rockets. I don't think Raisy will be on time. Lands a nice rail, though av3k should finish this. He will. Raisy hanging around a bit too long, and he will go down. 2.5 minutes left. av3k still definitely in a position where he can make the comeback happen.
I love av3k's timing. He knew that if he was keeping the pace he was running at, he would have been able to beat him to the Mega and the rail.
That
looks
LG,
so good.
That LG, that was perfect tracking. Just a string of 6s and then the rail to finish it off. av3k definitely still not out for the count just yet. Mega will be going to him as well. So he's got the stack advantage. He's going to do a nice little rocket jump right there over the small armor so that he denies it to Raisy in the process. Actual great play.
Yeah, some tidy little optimization here coming out from av3k as 2 minutes left. Definitely our closest map of the day so far, and it's only map number 1. Raisy is the projected favorite here, but we'll see if it actually, well, matters at all. We'll see how things go. But now av3k with the rocket jump. Raisy's trying to run away, but not before a lot of damage was done in return. I'm looking at Raisy, and I'm looking at the fact that he needs armor, and he knows it. He is railable at this health.
av3k does know that Raisy still has the ability. He still has the Ghost Walk, so he knows that he has to deal with that first before he can actually make the frag happen, and that's becoming so risky right now. We've just over a minute left on the clock. av3k is definitely needing to catch Raisy right there. A little bit of rocket damage. Will take heavy. And I think he has a totem set up at the end of that teleporter, so if Raisy goes through, he will take a bit of damage. There we go, that 40 damage comes out. av3k, he knows he has to go in right now. Does a good amount of LG damage. Raisy using the Ghost Walk.
Oh, he made the right read, but Raisy wasn't trying to run away. That was not his objective. av3k thinks he has the good prediction. He chases it down the hallway, but instead of running away, Raisy is holding a rail angle. What a turnaround! And that might have lost av3k the map.
Yeah, av3k needs to get another frag within the next 10 seconds, or else it's basically done. And Raisy's just gonna slow play it. Wait, there comes av3k. He's gonna rocket jump. Perfect LG from Raisy to shut that down real quick. And right now he's just gonna stick around this area. He knows he doesn't have to make any sort of dangerous move, doesn't have to force any situation. He can just wait and run down the clock.
And it should be a free win here now. 15 seconds on the clock. Ghost Walk is available, which is naturally going to be time wasted. And the fact that Raisy is sitting on 2 extra frags here over av3k. This is going to be map number 1. That was such an excellent turnaround, and it's exactly what makes Raisy one of the best players in the world. That level of clutch and composure, everyone who plays Quake Champions in that position would have been focused on just running away. Yep. That's all they would have cared about, but not Raisy, and he won the map because of it.
Yeah, stuck around waiting, knowing exactly where his opponent is, because of course you can still see while you're in the Ghost Walk and lining up that last railgun perfectly to finish off and put another frag between him and his opponent, basically guaranteeing the map at that point. And this map, Blood Run, basically played out exactly the way that we predicted it, right? Raisy managed to get the first 2 frags, around 2.5 minutes in, 3 frags even, and then, yeah, he's got nicks, he's got that evasiveness, and av3k just has very little to work with trying to chase him down. He did a very good job managing to get quite a few frags on Raisy still, but ultimately just wasn't able to catch up.
That was a crazy game number 1, and it's the kind of thing I think we would always expect to see from these 2 players. Raisy coming off just a little bit better, but the fact that av3k was able to still turn it around, but it's the prolonged game. It's the fact that every single time you go on Blood Run, you are expecting a very sort of calculated experience where it's not going to be about a huge frag difference. It's probably going to be 1 or 2, and I think history always kind of repeats itself whenever we see this map. I think it's why some players are very indifferent on it. You know, either you love this map or you hate it, because if you're slow-paced and very, very disciplined, then hey, you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
If you don't like people running away, then you know maybe the map's not for you. But that's the thing about competitive play, is that it demands you learn multiple styles.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's a map for everyone. There's some maps where you can absolutely play a certain way on that you cannot do on other similar maps. So you gotta master it all, you gotta know your champions, especially now with the pick and ban system. I mean, you can't just rely on learning 1 or 2 champions and running with them. You really gotta know how to play and counter just about everyone in the series.
Well, that is only going to be map number 1. We have a couple more left, and we'll see how those ones go. But, you know, av3k, I feel like this kind of loss is the kind of loss that would really impact a player too heavily. You know, it was very close. Up until, I guess, the final minute mark, it was very much anyone's game. It was just that really that was one of the frag. I think for me, that's the frag of the day. That is the best frag I've seen so far. Not because it was stylish and not because it was just visually really impressive. It was just the thought process behind it, and how in so many positions when a player is that weak and you know he's used the Ghost Walk because always a Nyx is trying to run away. I feel like av3k was trying so hard to push because he was running out of time. Raisy just used that against him 100%. But I don't think the Raisy in 2017 would have done that at all. That's not a very young Raisy thing. It is only because he's just so disciplined now that he didn't used to be, that allows those kind of decisions to actually come through in the end.
I definitely agree with you there, because Raisy back in the day was very well known for being an extremely defensive player when he had to, and he had no problems just running down minutes and minutes of the clock, not even showing himself to the opponent whatsoever. But right there, that was such a calculated and smart play, knowing that av3k was thirsty and running out of time, and so he lands the perfect shot and basically secures him the win. Well,
that's one map. Blood Run, I think, is naturally extremely slow anyway. All the other maps we have left to go today, I think, will just naturally be different. What do you reckon? What do you think of the adaptations av3k would potentially make against Raisy with how the first map went in the first place?
Well, I mean, it's just Blood Run is such a unique map that I don't think it really says anything about how they're going to move into the next maps. Because av3k, at the start, when you're 2 frags down, you know you gotta be consistent when applying that pressure and trying to chase your opponent down. So I hope he definitely keeps that up, because you can't give Raisy any room to run away with. As we've been saying all along, Raisy can switch to extremely defensive plays just like that. Just out of nowhere, and you won't see him for the rest of the map. You won't even hear him for most of the time. So av3k definitely has to continue applying the pressure and not be afraid to take those fights. Show some of that av3k aggression.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm interested about is the fact that these results were projected to, quite a few people thought that Raisy would be able to sort of win this 3-0, but by no means was map 1 one-sided. It wasn't dominant at all. It just came down to one decision that I think was just a difference between mentalities. How you caught someone off guard one time and the map's over. That's kind of Quake in a nutshell, isn't it? But Corrupted Keep, av3k going in with all-out damage, and Raisy, we haven't really seen him use Anarchy a huge amount yet. We'll see what it brings to the table. This is very much an Anarchy map, but again, how is the start going to go? That's what I wonder. On the half of Heavy, hasn't been collected yet, actually.
Nope, still up. Raisy kind of just sitting on it, knows that av3k is watching him, and just jumping in and out, trying to do a little bit of damage, but he has got to be so careful, because even though he's got the speed, he's got the mobility, getting caught in one bad fight against a double rocket, a double LG, and you're basically done for instantly, given how little stack you have as enemy.
The start of this map was played so well by Raisy. The delay on the Heavy to make it so now if he wants, so he can get the rhythm going, he can start to really alternate and collect these two major pickups. The movement of Anarchy, where he can really sort of get in and out quicker than most in the game in this position, and the fact that Raisy was able to dish so much damage that av3k had to respect it and back up. So in the space of a minute, Raisy got both of the big pickups that he was looking for, and then LG, which is one of, if not the most important weapon on this map to begin with.
Oh yeah, this is one of the few maps where you can actually play a very serious weapon denial game, I've always felt like, because LG is in such a difficult corner to get and get out of easily, and right now av3k kinda in a bad spot, is running out of heavy machine gun, and he will, Raisy will give up on that fight. Heavy will be the next item of contest, Raisy will be the first one there. av3k trying to set up a bit of a trap rather, but Raisy, look at that speed, look at that movement.
And that's the dangerous thing about Anarchy, is these traps that you can put someone in and catch them with a bunch of LG. Otherwise they'd be stuck in the air, but the air control that Anarchy brings to the table, he just doesn't have to worry about it. The beautiful weapon swap to the machine gun, cannot chase it down. Doesn't even matter there's no rail on this map, because the machine gun really fits that build. Yeah, especially when they're that weak.
Exactly, it's such an important weapon on this map, because just as you said, there is no railgun, and heavy machine gun is essentially the only way you can do consistent good damage at long distance. And right now av3k perhaps a bit too aggressive right here. Raisy has got him where he wants him, and av3k has got so little to work with. Raisy looking to finish it with the shotgun. Can av3k get out? Excellent rocket though. He might actually be able to escape. He's just got a sliver of health left, but Raisy will break away to secure Mega.
Raisy was a little bit unfortunate with the spread of the SSG, but it doesn't really matter too much. He's still able to get away. av3k, very, very weak, but Corrupted Keep has such a high concentration of health bubbles, and then you factor in BJ's passive where he fills up to the next 25 stack anyway. av3k has survived. Can he win the fight? Injection's going to get popped. The Heavy gets taken, but he's so weak anyway. I'm not even sure it's going to matter. He's trying to run away. He gets pegged a little bit, but is it enough? He's still alive. av3k has done such a good job of surviving here.
Yeah, he's actually got the stack advantage right now, but he's out of position when it comes to Mega. Raisy hiding behind that little piece of wall right there, but he's got the LG, so av3k really can't drop, because the moment that he jumps down, he's just going to get pinned up against the wall, and he will be slaughtered by the lightning gun. And Raisy does manage to take Mega. Heavy up in just a few seconds. av3k almost slipped on right past by him, but will in the end still go to Raisy.
The control does go back to Raisy once more. I feel like Raisy has had a really nice rotation, and so much of it might have come down to the fact that right at the beginning of the map he somewhat alternated their spawns. Where Raisy was always there to challenge, on top of collecting it himself, and melted. Absolutely melted. av3k's going to lose the dual wield too, which is bad news, especially now he's 2 frags down. That's not a good opportunity to lose the dual wield right there.
Absolutely not. av3k definitely overexposed himself in that situation. Shouldn't have been there, and taking that kind of damage. He will take away Heavy though, but it's got so few weapons to work with. Shotgun has to be excellent, and unfortunately Raisy will get away with 30 points of health left. If anything, he did use the injection though, so that might give av3k a bit of an upper hand.
But it's all about managing the map, and Raisy very calculatedly trying to keep some of those small health bubbles as up as possible for if he needs to run away, but at the end of the day he didn't have the stack. av3k had it above him, and because of it he's able to pick that one up. Manages to bring the trap again. Raisy not near a terrific amount of weaponry, so he's going to pull back there. Not well equipped for a fight, least of all at that angle if all you have is a tribal.
But now this is a bad spot to be in when you're Raisy. He does have the injection though. He hasn't popped it yet. There we go. Will eventually use it. But damn, the tri-bolt! That should have been av3k's. Raisy stuck and av3k just raining down the damage with the heavy machine gun. But Raisy using the injection and then just the full tri-bolt to the face. That's so much damage. I
think for me it's more about it's all about that mobility that Anarchy has. It's the fact that from that angle, you know, otherwise you're stuck and it's hard to escape. But if Raisy is able to kind of get in and out and make sure that he's firing a tri-bolt, yeah, he can get an angle, but he's so quick that he can make sure that when he's not firing a tri-bolt, his back was to a wall or in front of the wall to block him off. The heavy machine gun, I mean, av3k just didn't have an angle at all. He's now going to get some LG, which is hitting its mark beautifully, and av3k just getting melted again. This LG from Raisy has been on fire.
Yeah, Raisy's aim is definitely nothing to mess with, and he's immediately looking to get another frag onto av3k, and av3k once again in a dangerous position, dropping down on a major item. We just saw this go wrong, but this time around av3k will get away with the item. This is looking pretty good for him. Will he find Raisy off the bat? Rockets not doing much damage, and Raisy, of course, heavy machine gun gets the distance and is looking very solid.
Raisy's going to play the patient game. av3k misjudges the Mega by a split second. And Raisy having the timing, using it against him. You know, av3k's attempt was to just get in, get the Mega, potentially dual wield as well, but he misjudged it by a split second and it just gave Raisy the opening he's been looking for the entire map. He's just... av3k is just a little bit lagging behind, I fear, and these frags are starting to rack up. The pressure is laying on.
Yeah. If anything, that last fight though, av3k did manage to steal heavy, so Raisy cannot use that, and that is allowing av3k to now apply a lot of pressure. Rockets just aren't doing enough, and Raisy managing to stack up just a little bit. av3k, is he finally going to put another frag on the board? Raisy is going to slow it down a little bit. He has that injection at the ready. He's going to wait tactically to pop it, and now just steers clear away from that VG on the other side.
av3k catches him though. Raisy's not the only one that's listening out for a good opportunity. But the question's always going to be, when you're this far behind, how do you recover? You know, what is the play? How do you get back up on the horse, as it were? Raisy hasn't got any armor, at least for now, but this is Corrupted Keep and this is Anarchy. It's so easy for this champion to kind of just zip around and collect those light armors when necessary. Has been able to collect one, and that's going to become amplified even more now as the heavy is about to spawn.
And that heavy that will be going to av3k this time, and now he's got almost the maximum stack that he can achieve. Such a difference between Raisy, who is of course a light champion, but av3k, he needs to be able to catch him, and that is the difficult thing to do when you're up against someone like Anarchy. And so far he's had very little luck finding any good fights, good confrontations where he could use the dual wield effectively. And look at that, Raisy just steals Mega, and he's actually just sticking around. I was expecting Raisy to just dance out of the room right away, but he just stood his ground and did a lot of LG damage.
A lot of positions too. At the moment the dual wield's being popped, Raisy's out. Like, he's just long gone.
Yep.
And if not, he's getting outgunned himself. Raisy's LG has been exceptionally dangerous so far, as now av3k pushing into LG room. He's trying to get anything that resembles an opening, having a bad time, and once more swapping to a weapon, but the Mega gets collected. av3k counting his stars that he survived that one, because he almost went down for another time, giving Raisy 8 frags to 2. That's a lot to come back with when there's just over 2 minutes. Raisy picks up another frag. The rocket was just so good, and yeah, it's running away from him.
At this point, av3k needs a miracle to make something happen right now, but look at that, he's taking a fight. Raisy maintaining the better position, doing excellent LG damage. av3k will go down once again. And at this point, is there any hope left for av3k?
I mean, I'm just looking at time at the moment. The only way for av3k to pull this one back is to not only continuously frag Raisy, but pick him up on the spawn, get him again, pick him up on the spawn, get him again. I don't even think he physically has time to win this map, least of all the fact that he's against Anarchy. Anarchy's got injection. Injection is wasted time. And you know what? I love that angle. av3k's looking for a shotgun blast, and Raisy just sits there in front of him, and he doesn't even move. Yep. av3k's looking for a flick. Of course he's going to try and strafe. He's Anarchy. How about no?
Perfect dodges from Raisy, and that basically seals the deal. We've got a minute left on the clock and an 8 frag lead for Raisy. So av3k basically is out of time. Even if he gets perfect respawn frags, it is too long gone. The map has run out of his hands.
You know, that frag, that shotgun dodge looked a lot like a Cooler dodge to me. The other way Cooler dodges rockets by doing nothing.
Oh yeah.
Because he just knows the other guy's going to try and move it over.
Yep.
And av3k's going to fall again. And I mean, every frag matters. Raisy's going to... unlikely to stop this momentum as long as he can go. But this map is, rest assured, completed.
Yep.
Raisy's going to take this 2-0 over av3k so far. We're going into our third map, potentially the 3-0s being in play, giving Raisy the points that he's always looking for. Nothing is satisfying unless it's first place for Raisy. There's now 20 seconds left to go. Raisy's going to try and bag another frag. Maybe av3k will just try and deny it.
Yep.
Think about the next map.
Yeah, that's something that you need to be able to do when you're a top-level player. You need to be able to separate the maps like that and not let it carry over too much. So even if you lose in a map like this, you need to be able to put that behind you, just ground yourself once again, and treat the next map as an entirely different matchup, essentially.
Can you see good guy Raisy not taking that free frag there? He goes down the teleport and av3k's literally stopped moving.
Yeah.
And he gets one gauntlet and he just continues.
He lets it be.
So after that 2-0, it's Raisy, I think, just... av3k, it's essentially been the way things have gone this entire series, that av3k is just having a really hard time just catching Raisy.
Yeah.
Whether it was Blood Run, whether it was Corrupted Keep, it's a game constantly of Raisy just kind of knowing what he wants to do, and I think really understanding that av3k just seemingly hasn't got the tools to get it done.
Yeah, and maybe that will change on the third and final map, because this time around Raisy is not playing a super fast, slippery, small champion, but he will be playing Doom, so that might give av3k a bit of an easier time to set up those traps and not let Raisy slip out of his hands so often.
We have to see if champions at this point even make too much of a difference, because the difference between Nyx and Anarchy, the difference between Corrupted Keep and Blood Run, it's definitely not maps you would put into the same pool, yet the results have gone more lopsided on Corrupted Keep. Raisy is one of the best players in the business, and although av3k is, he is held in high esteem. He's had amazing LAN results in the past. He's conquered Raisy in the past, but I just think we're going into new age and a new age of player along with it, and Raisy, I think, is really spearheading that younger player movement.
Yep. And coming into, or going into the next map rather, Raisy, I feel like, also has the better matchup when it comes to champion, because he's got Doom, he's got that mobility, but on the other hand, av3k is playing Visor, and Awoken is not the biggest of maps. You can usually have a pretty good idea of where your opponent is at. There's not that many places to set up the traps that you might see on, say, Blood Run or on Blood Covenant, so it can be very difficult to use the piercing side effectively, and that's going to make it all the more difficult for av3k to really do something in this final game.
I'm also kind of looking at the fact that Raisy is exceptionally strong on Awoken.
Yeah.
I'll actually kind of put av3k and Raisy in a similar kind of pool of people that whenever you watch them play on Awoken, they just always do extremely well. It's a map that they just gel with, for lack of a better term, and I know av3k is projected to maybe not even drop Awoken at all in the Pro League. Like he's a real favourite to do well, but I wouldn't count out Raisy in that pool of players either, because it's all Awoken, if anything, is all about a mechanical understanding of Quake champions, because it's very I guess like champion matchup dependent, it's very respawn dependent, and it's just trying to force spawns, and that's one of the things Raisy's always been top-notch at, and it was, I guess, one of the things that the community kind of used as a negative against him back in the day was, oh, this guy's not naturally talented, this guy's not got the Quake experience, he's just abusing this, or he's just abusing that. The way I always used to see it, and still do see it, is a tool in a game that's powerful, and he plays to win and uses it accordingly and is known to master some of these techniques that are champion-specific a little bit better than most players, if not anyone. I feel like he's one of the best players in the world at just taking mechanics that are new to this game and just using it. So, something as simple as a respawn trap, which has been around for ages, I don't think it's going to be too hard for him to learn.
No, absolutely. And even there's a limit to how often you can say, oh, he's just abusing that, because the meta keeps changing. And so even though he's really good playing a certain playstyle or a certain champion or a certain thing, next patch, things might have completely changed. There might be a different meta, new ways to counter something or let it basically go untouched. So you can only say he's only abusing that to win so often before it becomes clear that Raisy is just an amazing player that can work with anything you give him.
I think the man deserves respect, and I think he's been fighting for respect for far too long. But ultimately, this is going to be our third map. See if Raisy can collect his third win. A bonus 2 points of a 3-0. av3k, it would be a real shame for him to get through this week without a single point to his name, but he has a hard challenge, not only Raisy, but Raisy on this map.
Yeah, that's definitely difficult to work with. And also, like I said, the champion matchup, I think, favors Raisy more than it does av3k, so he's fighting an uphill battle to begin with. Slow start to Awoken. Both players haven't really exchanged any damage yet. They're just kind of sticking to their side of the map, getting all the weapons, trying to get situated.
It's very common for these two to... This is actually isn't anywhere near the first time one of them has foregone one of the pickups. because they've gone for the fight first. And they've opted to take the fight, and then they'll try and engage, back out and collect. They've actually both done the exact same thing. In this case, Raisy collecting the Mega instead. av3k.
Yep.
Looking for a safe time to use the teleporter.
av3k knows exactly where Raisy is. I don't know if Raisy... No, Raisy definitely doesn't know. And there we go, the rail doesn't quite knock him off the map right there. But still, that's a nice little bit of opening damage coming out of av3k. Mega and Heavy are basically tied, so there's not much room to maneuver in between them. Still though, av3k at this point has got the better position. He can take Mega and just jump straight on through and get himself on the Heavy. It's exactly what he will do as well. Raisy still hanging around though, hoping to do a bit of damage.
I feel like it's not every day you go on a map like Awoken and see a minute and a half for that single frag. av3k's looking to collect one though. Get some of that piercing sight damage. Raisy's gonna have to make a decision. Was that shot good enough to be piercing sight? Is he confident?
Yeah. And av3k right now actually delaying Heavy for an enormous amount of time. The Heavy and Heavy were up at around the same time, but right now there's 25 seconds in between them. And ultimately it didn't really work out in his favor because Raisy managed to steal Mega. Next time around he's landing the rails as well. av3k kinda starting to hurt right now. And Raisy looking to punish even more.
Now we can see another disengage. Looks like Raisy's trying to look for an angle, but now it's av3k that's not entirely sure. Piercing sight's going to give him some information now. It's going to be near Heavy.
Yep.
Should give him a rough timing there too.
Nice.
Yeah, wonderful shot.
Yep, that will immediately take away a large chunk of that Heavy off the bat. He's got a pretty good idea of where Raisy is, it seems, but Raisy using that little ledge to just hide just outside of his opponent's line of sight. Oh! Ooh. Wow.
No piercing sight needed for that one. Raisy's popping the Berserk, he's trying to run away, but instead he throws down. That's the issue with Berserk, and that's why you don't really see it used aggressively in 1v1 duel. It's just, you have to put all your chips down, and if their stack is crazy like av3k's was, I mean, you can't survive. Yep. The damage of the Berserk just doesn't even out the damage you're going to take, and you're stuck in melee only, like,
yeah,
not a good position.
Your opponent knows you just have to close the gap, and unlike a champion like Scalebearer, whose ability gives him that damage reduction, you're still just as vulnerable when using the Berserk as you are otherwise. Good use of the piercing side. Raisy will drop right back down, and av3k's gonna get a good idea of where his opponent is at right now. Looking to do some damage through the teleporter. Because av3k one frag in the lead, and he definitely wants to expand on that still.
I wouldn't be surprised if av3k does really force this map down to a snail's pace. If he has the information that Raisy doesn't, because he has the piercing sight every so often, he can play the slow game, but if the LG comes through the way it does with av3k being this vulnerable, he's now in a tricky position.
Yeah.
But Raisy's no idiot. He knows there's plenty of health pickups on this part of the map, so let's not overextend. Let's try and establish some control instead.
That was actually a phenomenal double jump from Raisy, because he basically just walked off the edge, and av3k thought that he was going to go right down. av3k was already turning around, expecting Raisy to push through the teleporter, but then Raisy at the last second hits that double jump and stays on top of the map, and so av3k completely disoriented, and Raisy does a ton of damage in that situation. Good rockets, can he find the rail? He does, but still 3 points of health, and Raisy finishes it off and ties things up 1-1.
That was a wonderful play, Raisy. Giving a little bit of damage unnecessarily to himself. Hopefully he doesn't live to regret it. Almost did. Looking for the rail shot. Hesitates though because av3k, also wise to it, looking for the rocket that forces him away. Taking a while now for the Mega to spawn. He's still got 10 seconds. Is Raisy even going to be able to fight for this? av3k didn't hit too much rocket damage, but the LG is going to be more than sufficient anyway. It is going to be heavy. Raisy able to fall back now.
Yeah.
But I think av3k, we're looking at how much time he's got until piercing sight. Looks like it's going to be right now, and that's going to be Information City.
I like the play from Raisy to stick around there, because it was very calculated, knowing that there was no way av3k had the railgun. Because when he was basically just jumping away from that T, that central area, he could have definitely taken a rail in the back, but he knew that there was no way av3k had that available. And look at that, once again, the drop-off and double jump straight back up is working very well for Raisy. He's going to push in, lands an excellent rail, but av3k retaliates in turn.
A 5-minute warning and only 1 frags apiece. This has absolutely been the slowest map that we've seen today. Well, I say slow, obviously it's only in the frag sense. There's definitely been a lot of mind games going on here. It's both players trying to be crazy patient. Yeah. But it's a lot of respect being shown. I think sometimes Raisy might not have had a clear indication over when av3k has had piercing sight, so he's not wanted to be overextending.
There's also, even though there haven't been many frags, there's been a lot of engagement. It's basically been non-stop action aside from these first 2 minutes. But still, frags are coming no one's way, and both players playing it very cautiously, don't want to overextend, and don't want to put themselves in a bad position. Raisy will take Mega, and av3k will take Heavy. Very aggressive push from Raisy, misses the rail, and right now he's going to come to a confrontation. av3k, will he stick around? Will he try and punish this after taking that rail? Surely he will not, he's just going to back right out. And Raisy looking to trap him with the rail. A little bit of tribal damage.
But ultimately, the history is repeating. There's not a huge amount of consequence. What Raisy has been able to do is, for a huge amount of time, keep av3k towards banana side of the map. Yeah. And, you know, your resources are kind of limited. If you're controlling this central section of the map, you have access to Rocket, Mega, Heavy, I mean, even Rail, all the vital assets except for LG, which Raisy has been seeing so far. Hasn't needed too much. Likely to go for a weapon swap now, and that jump pad might have delivered the death sentence. Yep. av3k is going to fall again, 2-1. He finally tries to fight back, and he pays the price for it.
av3k just should not have pushed that. He saw Raisy go for Mega, and he was hoping that he would be able to just take Heavy and get out in time, but Raisy was so quick on the follow-up, and av3k was kind of stuck on top of the bounce pad, had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Raisy expertly finished him off. You're
noticing too that Raisy isn't taking a rail shot unless he has a backup plan. You know, Raisy isn't going to go for a rail and risk missing it and taking all this free damage. If he doesn't have a plan B, somewhere to double jump to, that av3k actually might not be able to chase because he hasn't got the ability to cover as much airspace.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that some of the other players that just talked earlier, I think, could do well replicating a few times. And here we go, av3k pushing in too aggressively, Raisy taking Mega just before that fight and pushing in, and an excellent rail off the spawn as well. av3k at least has got that small armor to stack back up with, so that works in his favor, but Raisy still has got the position on Heavy. av3k raining down the rockets, and actually the LG comes out as well. Raisy didn't even pick up Heavy.
Absolutely perfect time to secure the frag as well, because he's going to get the Heavy as a prize. And we're looking at the time. That's the thing about these close matches where it's only a matter of a frag or two, is that av3k has plenty of time to bring things back. And he's got the stack to go for those rocket jumps, can start moving a little bit quicker if he wants to. Raisy, you can see the slow movement, but slow movement normally gets you out of dodge, but not when it's a piercing sight. And now he knows exactly where he is. Springing the trap again, but who's going to draw first blood here? Yeah, you can hear him running away. He knows where he is.
Yeah. And av3k, he knows he's got 2 minutes to work with. If he can get a good trap on Raisy just like that, that's a nice amount of damage. Heavy is up. av3k is actually going to see Raisy, or hear at least him take it, so he's in a good position to get a lot of information. Good rail as well.
How does Raisy survive? That's always the question. I mean, his ability to retreat and his micromanagement of the map's little items has been keeping him alive so much. I mean, he can afford to be patient here.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter that he's down on stack, and av3k is looking at plenty of health and armor, in fact. It's just the fact that there's 1 minute 15 on the clock, and Raisy has the win condition right now. How much does av3k lay the pressure on? This piercing sight's going to give him information. That is a wonderful rail. Now he's looking for the Mega angle. Misses the rail, but he does get the Mega instead. He can afford to be aggressive now if he wants to. Hits another rail. av3k still needs to be careful. He's out of rockets. That might be disastrous. He needed that rocket jump so bad, and he can't cover the distance now.
Yeah, that click is definitely one of the worst sounds in all of Quake Champions. And av3k, he's losing so much time, like 20 seconds, that he cannot really chase, and he's lost track of Raisy. Raisy hiding in the middle of the map right there, still going for the rails. Very interesting to see, and av3k, he's going to push in aggressively. Knows he has the 30 seconds, 1 frag.
I feared the moment he ran out of rockets. He may have lost his opening. Raisy going for retreat. av3k by all means should secure this, and he gets the turnaround. However, he did take a little bit of damage, and the double jump. Oh, what a good double jump that was.
Yeah.
The knowledge, knowing he's hitting the angle, but if I double jump, he can't see me.
10 seconds until overtime. It looks like, I was gonna say both players look comfortable not going for it just yet, but in they go, both taking the fight, but they do break away as well. av3k, excellent rail. Can he find some more? Nope, misses. Crucial shot right there.
This is a pivotal sudden death. This is a matter of 3 zeros worth of points for Raisy, or nothing for av3k. av3k needs this win. He needs this frag, because by the end of this season, who knows how many points will matter between where you are on the leaderboards. And that goes for both Raisy and av3k in this situation. av3k looking at a superior stack. He's got a long time, though, until his piercing sight comes back. With how things are going, I imagine he's going to wait. He's going to be a little bit more patient. And if he has the piercing sight, he can use it. But he goes full speed ahead. Takes damage on the way. Doesn't return it, which is unfortunate. Does hit the rail now. Raisy, no armor left. And that missed rail is very important indeed. He should, by all accounts, maybe have piercing sight ready for the last time in this map. And I feel like with the amount of ammo and stack av3k's looking at, it's going to be an important piercing sight indeed.
Yep. Raisy just hiding in the corner down there, waiting for that small arm to respawn. Will get himself stacked up a little bit, but av3k has the overall advantage. He's got that piercing sight. Now he needs to find the right time to use it. Will pop it. Raisy is trying to get away. The LG does so much. And the rail!
Oh, the shot! What a shot! What a shot, Flea, that was. And it was the piercing sight that we have to thank for it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 3-0 today. av3k fights back at the last literal possible second. And there it is. What a shot. Well done.
Yeah, he used the piercing sight to perfection, saw Raisy drop down through the platform essentially and just lined it up and hit it just before he went through the teleporter. Excellent play from av3k, showed a very resilient playstyle because this was a bit of a marathon, went into overtime, very low frags overall, so excellent play by av3k.
I think it's important for him. 3-0s at this point, I mean, they are always seen to be kind of like bonus points and bonus situations, right? Where you know, you get the extra points if you secure that. Not only the 6 points for the 3 maps, but the bonus 2 for securing a 3-0. So, Raisy, he's always aiming for the top, that numero uno, and av3k being defiant as always. Yeah. I actually think that's going to impact Raisy a little bit. I think Raisy was really hoping he could have got a 3-0 here.
Yeah, and for some time it definitely looked like it. If you see right now, 3-1 for Raisy with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. But I think he put himself out of position just a few times too often, like with that heavy. And then av3k just with a few seconds to spare chases him down. I like the position from Raisy right there. Not going left, not going right, just taking a step backwards and landing a rocket in the back. But here we go, that final phenomenal rail. Bam.
Oh. And the piercing sight ran out right as he was in midair too. That was just av3k having the timing, knowing how long it's going to take for him to fall.